You guys hire more staff this year as well?
Yeah, well, yes and no. We have the same amount of staff, but we had to have our kitchen. So we have two people on at all times in the kitchen. A lot of that is raises. We have some staff members who tenure is 10+ years. So obviously you have to have raises there, even 5+ years.
I just thought I'd ask. It was $100,000. So
no, absolutely. You have to count raises and things like that in there. We do have the same amount, I guess you could say technically. I staff 7 on during the day and 6 on at night.
Okay.
And I've split it up into 12. We do 12-hour shifts. So I have 2 different day shift teams and 2 different night shift teams.
So even with that, you're still at around percentage of space used, you're at 175% for the year, correct? That's what I'm reading here anyway.
On what page are you on? Sorry.
On the first page. So I guess what I'm trying to say is your space is being utilized more from last year to this, from 23 to 24, and I assume from 24 to 25. So the increases make sense. That's my point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Sorry.
Sorry.
I haven't had.
I'm trying to let the public know that
No,
the reason
please.
the request amount went up is because you are incarcerating more juveniles.
Absolutely.
And that cost us more money.
With some more severe crimes.
Exactly. And then I was touching on the medical side.
Absolutely.
So,
Medical is a big deal. If it was my child, I'd want them to go to the.
Well, yeah, of course. We can't not medical,
No, absolutely. And you have to look at too, we also pay for medications. I didn't even mention that before. We pay for all their medications.
That's kind of what I was alluding to with that question and how much that price tag is.
Medication is probably 50% of that, roughly. Medication is a big deal.
I think it's gonna keep going up
Oh,
personally.
probably.
Yes.
Probably. I mean, nothing's cheap. I don't, even my own personal daughter's medication. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
of course.
And real quickly,
Sure.
we have Doug Thompson here, our counselor, but we have this recovery court, Angela, that's coming up here in June. And again, I tried to invite you guys folks to come down and see.
What day is it?
This is on June the 11th, at 3:30. But I do want you guys to come down because we all work with the same thing.
We do.
And we're trying to accomplish the same, trying to
We do.
help our youngsters and stuff. And it's very important that we all see what's involved. So
No,
it's quite a deal.
When we get back, we'll look at our schedules and see what we have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any other questions for
You
me?
mentioned the fentanyl issue.
Uh-huh.
Now there is a variety of it
Yeah.
out on the coast that the Narcan doesn't impact.
I have not seen that here yet. But that was something to, I guess, be on the watch for. Yeah. I mean, if somebody were to
Change the formula slightly.
stated that, I always tell people if they spent the time that they spent doing this and put it to the greater good, we'd be in good shape. But like I said, either way, all of our staff members are CPR certified until EMS could arrive, if that were to happen. And that we've had the Narcan one time coming in. One time, all my staff carry it. All my staff are trained in Narcan. DECA provides us with our Narcan for free through the state. And so we have a lot of it. But CPR would be the only thing until EMS could arrive, honestly. Until they created another Narcan to help us or change their form. I don't know. It's rough.
It is.
It's rough. It's sad and rough.
Losing situation, but
I don't know how you'd ever win it. I don't.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before I go? All right.
We'll get a time figured out.
Let me know. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Next up, we have the Central Kansas Free Fair 2026 budget. You ready?
Of course.
Good morning.
I think I've got somebody in it. I think they're in there. Do you have copies?
I'll take one. Maybe I do.
Yeah, it's in your- Should be in your book.
But, yeah.
Give me a cheat sheet.
There you go.
Thank you.
How are you?
How are you?
Good, how are you? Hi,
You need to introduce yourself. by the way.
I'm Kylie Lee, member of the Central Kansas Free Fair Board.
Been a long time, whole year, guys. Not much has changed in the last year. Since we came last, we did get our new beef barn put up, replace the old one, and we have the plans to basically continue with the beef barns and go down. That is a much bigger project because it includes the restrooms that are currently on the back end, as well as wash racks and water lines and all those fun things. So that's more of a 2-3 year project. So still writing grants for those. Sterner Foundation, the Community Foundation here, the farmer, what's one I just did? Frontier Farm Credit. That one's due the end of this month, so I'm currently working on that one. I had talked with a group out of Kansas City. They work a lot with rural communities and stuff like this, and she said this year, probably not. But to talk to them next year and get some more feedback from them, but they're very interested and helpful with making everything handicap accessible. So like the restroom project would be something that they would be very interested in, and hopefully able to assist us with that. As far as our working dollars, did a bit of an increase for the ticket sales since we have the new lumber house lot on the north end of the arena, accounting for those sales for both the rodeo and the demo. But everything else, no tractor pull, no special 100th anniversary celebration this year. It was a lot. Last year it was fun. It was a lot. So you'll see our insurance went down from that extra premium that we had to have on there that last year. But everything else kind of flipped.
So how many are on your board? About.
11. There we go.
Notice the revenue loss. Is that right? What is that? Get sales weren't where they needed to be or what?
And when I go and do grant meetings, I mean, they see these same numbers, and as with any nonprofit, that's always. Basically, our only income is the beer sales. And that is our operating budget for the whole year. So everything else with the expenses, and we do with our nonprofits that use the facilities, they use Sewer Hall and the arena. We do a lot to try and offset their costs as well, which get into our costs, but try and balance that out, especially for.
Some of it's just a pass through when you collect the money, but whatever group is.
Yeah.
But over and above the budget here, you folks put a lot of your own time, energy, and resources into that facility to make it go. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
So that there's lots of dollars that they need.
There's only 2 full-time, or I'm a full-time employee.
Right.
And the grants for.
Okay.
Well, how's this year looking?
Gonna be busy. Gonna be great.
Yeah.
Hopefully no bad weather, storms would be great.
Did that hurt us last year, that day? I think it was one day we had to kill the whole fair, right? And I killed it.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Yeah, the evacuate, didn't you?
I was there.
We're implementing the emergency plan.
That we.
That's a good, I think that was one thing I was gonna suggest. I don't know if that was very organized last year when that went down.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad. Nobody, luckily we have civility, but.
And that is something, I mean, we met with all the emergency crews the day after. Was that Thursday morning that we had our meeting with them and kind of implemented a plan for here on out for the rest of the week? And then they've been having our subcommittee has been meeting with them throughout this year to get an actual plan in place.
Chancey's involved
Yes.
with that,
Yeah.
Good.
so we have,
I think that'll help you. I don't think it'll happen again. That was pretty wild. The wind came quick, didn't it? Pretty windy, pretty quick.
Yeah.
Richard, do you have any questions? I'm good. So your request this year is 75,000?
Yeah.
Okay, same amount as last year, right? Okay. Well, I like the fair a lot. I think the community likes the fair a lot. Obviously, it's something we want to continue to happen. So I did initially, when you sent the email, I did see that net revenue loss. So I was going to ask you about it. Like, do we need to be worried? Are you guys worried about sustainability? That was my only question.
No,
Okay,
it's just I mean,
It's a
I can't
pass-through.
say, but it's the norm.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. I
and
didn't see, I don't know.
Yeah.
About that.
we do a lot. I mean, like Ron said, it's a lot of volunteers. We have your support. We have, I write a lot of grants that are very helpful to get the things that we need. We just did new chairs and tables for rentals, which is awesome, plus racks to store them on. So we have those funds that come in from those grants that we can keep our facilities updated for our rentals and stuff, that it keeps us.
And I think you're full just about every weekend and sometimes during the week.
The
Yeah.
rentals have really increased since COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
we're starting to see more and more people calling to book things.
And we redid our prices, and was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, last January, we increased our rental rates. Yeah. To compete with everybody else because we were a lot lower than everybody else. We got to be able to pay electricity.
We got a new sound system in Stir Hall as well, which is
It's
very
nice.
nice. It's very nice. So,
What's interesting is when you go traveling around, there's some kind of first places like a lot of us guys will go is to the fairground to see what they look like. And it's amazing the kind of perception that a community has when you go look at the fairgrounds, because it kind of tells you what the community is doing.
Yeah.
Or, so it's very important to showcase a nice, I feel, a nice fairground to the community and other communities that come and share that with you. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Ours is one of the best.
Well, and then, what we're not talking about.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's out there.
and a lot of these families, Kaylee included, you travel to all the spring shows and you see the facilities, and
Yep.
it's quite the comparison a lot of times, because we're up there and we're hoping to keep going up there by making the improvements that we're doing. So,
Obviously, the free fair is for the county, it's for the community, it's a celebration for the community. But on the same note, we're bringing in a lot of economic activity when we do this. So 75 grand to bring in the sales and to bring in business to our businesses, I think is a cheap price tag. So I think it's a great deal. So in that regard, when's the free fair this year?
July 29th is the kickoff. And that's a Tuesday, our parade, got me to Tuesday. So far also, that's been smooth. But that'll be the kickoff until August 3rd. On my out.
I think we're good. Any more questions?
There.
Sounds
This is the quietest I've seen you. Come on.
saving it, yeah.
Okay, well,
Thank you, ladies.
let me know if you have any questions.
Can you guys sign in before you leave?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If we got a representative from OCCK for their 2026 budget?
You do? You have 3 of them.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
Good. We can share.
No, we can
worries.
share. Fine.
Good morning.
I'm Sheila Nelson.
Can you-
Nice to meet you. Morning. How are you?
Walking in my-
You guys can sign in too if you want.
good morning. I'll shake your hand.
There you go. Good morning.
Okay, I didn't see him.
I hear you then.
Sometimes it's good to share, sometimes.
Sometimes it's not good to share.
Sometimes it's
Yeah,
not. Yes,
No. you
absolutely.
understand.
I prefer not catching anything this week.
I'm on the downside. So,
So, good morning again. It's nice to be here. We're here. I brought these two lovely people with me to give you an update on what we've been doing for the last year in Dickinson County and across the Nye County area. So I think in your packet, you have a kind of a fact sheet that talks about Dickinson County and what we've been doing. Jen has a lot of stories and she'll tell those, but we served 500 people here last year, which is, it continues to climb. We're stay right around 500, which is great. 59 people receive technology services. So we go to farmers' houses, and if they're struggling with hips or struggling with climbing into tractors or those kinds of things, or need tools, adapted as they age. So we work with people to keep farmers farming, and we work with people to stay independent in their homes. And there's so much technology that we all use these days that can help us so much. It can turn off the lights and lock the door and do all of those wonderful things. So we meet with a lot of people to talk about what is available for technology. As you know, we work with people with Alzheimer's, and most people stay at home with family caregivers when grandma gets Alzheimer's, and so we try to support people with Alzheimer's, first of all, through technology or through services, but more families, because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's a lot of wear and tear on families. And so we try to go in and give people resources and support groups and information, and just sometimes a little bit of respite so that I can go get groceries and do those necessary things. So infant toddler services we've done in Dickinson County for a long time. We served 100 kids last year. Those numbers keep growing. We go to families' homes. We send occupational therapists, speech therapists, physical therapists, and family specialists out to play with pots and pans and teach families how to get kids going if there's a little bit of a delay. So most of those kids don't need anything after the 3 years in infant toddler services. So that's a beautiful, fun service. Some kids then need special ed services. So we work with the schools to do transition types of things. So we hired through OCCK, there's 96 personal assistants and to help people in their homes with showers and cleaning and cooking and those kinds of things. We hired 69 Dickinson County residents. We work with 11 young people with autism. So birth to 18-year-olds and families. Of course, families come, and we set up this room so our therapists teach kids through play, the little ones, of course, and then older ones. We do community-based services, and families participate and watch and learn. And so that's a really fun service. Of course, we do independent living and employment and all of those kinds of things. We returned almost $3 million to Dickinson County. We buy everything we can locally, and of course, employment is most of that coming back into the community. So I didn't ask for an increase this year. I know times are hard. I try not to ask for increases unless we really, really need them. Numbers continue to go up, which is great. And we'll keep doing everything we can do. I know that, the federal budgets are getting cut. And so I anticipate that next year we'll start to see reductions. This year's federal money is already in Kansas. And so, we don't know what will happen. We're tightening the belt as much as we can and building reserves as much as we can, because the last thing you want is people to call and not be able to depend on you. Part of, the partnership with counties is we go out, we don't turn anybody away. So if you call, we're going to be at your house solving problems, no matter who you are, poor or rich, we don't care. So anyway, we always brace. There's always cycles of funding cuts, of course. So anyway, let's see. One new exciting project. A lot of the federal funds are being pulled back from Kansas, but we wrote a grant a few months ago to do more rural technology. So we wrote a grant to buy 2 of the vans, the service, you see them, service companies own them, they kind of look like bugs with funny front. And so we're going to buy 2 of those bigger ones. We're going to make them completely accessible. We're going to fill them with, we wrote a $900,000 grant. So those equipped accessible vans are going to cost about $250,000. Yeah, I know. Wow, yeah. And then we're going to buy a couple $100,000 worth of equipment that we can loan out to people to try. And we're going to drive those vans around to the rural communities because, you know, if you can't come and see my house, you can't really help me stay in my house. And so we're really excited about that. I just got the form. We've been worrying because we were awarded the grant in March and we thought, oh, we're not going to get this. But I got the grant award yesterday and I'm signing it quickly. And we're going to spend money as quickly as we can so that we can keep any chances. So anyway, that's exciting news. So I'll turn it over to Jenny and Trell and let them talk about transportation. And
Thank you.
then I'll be glad to answer questions.
Right. Hi, Trell Brinter, and I have the opportunity to run our transportation department. Here in Dickinson County, we gave about 15,000 rides last year. A majority are in Abilene. I have 2 full-time drivers stationed here Monday through Friday, about 8 to 4. Sometimes we pick people up a little bit early so they can get to work. Yay. But 10,000 rides to and from work, to and from medical appointments. We have a fantastic partnership with the hospital through Salina Regional and then also through the Memorial Foundation. That gets people rides to their doctor's appointments without any cost to them. It is a free ride to get your toenails clipped, a free ride to the chiropractor, a free ride to the pharmacy. Pretty stinking amazing. We did see a little bit of a decrease in rides. Our hearts were broken when when the Harrington Clinic closed. A lot of people are needing rides from Harrington to Abilene Memorial, Harrington to Junction City Hospital, all of those things. So we're hoping that we can find a solution to help people get to where they're going. We try as much as we can. If we can make that ride happen, we try it. We've even gone as far as coordinating with doctors' offices. Can they have an earlier appointment? Can they have a later appointment? We can get them there. Can you help somebody get them home? We will go the mile and make sure that that can happen for them. Another really exciting thing to look for in the future, probably not in the next year, but 2 to 5, we have a Can Connect project, and currently it connects Salina and Solomon for employment focus. We give about 7,000 rides to and from work, and we are hoping to connect that in a much stronger way to Abilene and then farther on to Harrington. Enterprise would even be awesome too, but really kind of following that old 40 to get communities connected to support employment. We won't be Greyhound. I don't want to do that job, but we can have hours that make more sense to get people to and from work. And then that opens up our in-town and rural transportation to get those other rides to medical appointments, to see family that aren't so focused on employment. So we're going to be looking at efficiencies in that case to help people maintain and acquire that employment. I'll pass it over to Jen.
Real quick.
Oh, sure.
On these Salina to Abilene, you said you're currently giving rides to work right now? And how many was it?
So 7,000 to and from, so that's about the round trip. So Salina to Solomon, and then we have Abilene to Solomon for work there at Sunbelt Solomon. It is significantly less, but here in Abilene, we actually go to their house to pick them up and then take them instead of having them come to a fixed route. So between Sunbelt and OCCK, we'll be fortifying that partnership to expand stronger in Abilene and then farther to Enterprise and Harrington.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak here again. My stories are going to be pretty much hand in hand what Sheila said, but my stories are going to be around all those things that she said and how we go to people's houses. And this year I focus more on the money that you guys give us, what we do with the people that we don't serve. So I'm going to take this a different route this year. I'm going to focus on by town. So we have 11 and a half cities in Dickinson County. So with that half, let me share with that. 11 and a half. But some of the things that we've done over the years for Dickinson County, and the beginning of the year, I make the goals on how to serve Dickinson County and provide the quality services. And through that, I make those goals and we move forward on helping others. So with that half, we just talked about Elmo. Elmo is the half. It's in Dickinson County. I think it's a township, I can't remember, but I looked it up this morning. We went and provided 2 walkers there and 2 shower chairs, and we've had 5 INRs, which is probably the whole town of Elmo that called and asked questions. Then we have Carlton. On June 5th, 2004, OCCK received a phone call late on a Friday night at 7:30 that a lady needed to go to Junction City for an appointment. She was very frantic, she didn't know when to turn to. It was 7:30 at night, got the phone call, my messages go to my cell phone, so I called the lady back. And we were able to get her a ride, get her to Junction on time, and we were able to put adaptive equipment in her home, so she was able to stay in her home. We still sometimes get those calls from her and still take her to those appointments in Carlton. And then we have, that was the 1 walker we gave her. We gave her a toilet riser and a shower chair. And we've had 6 INRs from Carlton. And in Hope, one of the things I personally love to go and do in Hope is the springtime is put on the swag back. It's Hope, it's not very big. So I'll start at that little shop house that used to be an antique store, and then I'll just kind of walk around the town. People will ask, hey, what are you doing? They don't really see people walking very much. So I'll be like, oh, I'm OCCK. And we give pamphlets and just I give them some swag or whatever. So that just gave me the opportunity to get people to know me in Hope. But also, Hope has the little thrift store there. The lady knows me pretty well when I go in. This was actually Thursday, March 21st. I went there and was walking around at the end zone. Gave there was a pamphlet on the board, so I always update that every year. And the lady said, oh, you just missed the coffee crew. I'm like, oh, that's okay. She said, we might be busy again around noon or 5. I said, well, I'll just go walk around the town. It was 9:30. So I was my car is kind of like, I was sprinkling that day. This gentleman showed up and I was just like tearing down some pizza, looked over and he was having trouble getting out of his car. I'm like, well, here we go. So I got out of my car, went and asked the gentleman if I could help him with anything. And of course he's like, no, you can't help him with anything. I said, okay, well, let's try it. And so he told me he needed a cane and a walker because he just got diagnosed with COPD and he couldn't really get out. He didn't have the strength. So I told him, I said, sir, I said, it's funny, but I actually have those 2 items in my car. And I'm sure that his eyes lit up, my eyes lit up. And I provided him with both. And I told him we just had a medical durable equipment at the recycle center that people one time a year bring in the equipment to the recycle center. We usually get about 20 to 30 items and we bring them either back to Dickinson County and do it here, or we take it to SOC and put it in a key program. But with that being said, he said, ma'am, I have not trusted a woman since my ex-wife, but I love you. He still sends me a card every year. So this has only been 2 years. So I got one last year on Easter and I got one at Christmas and I got one another time. So, and we've also gave, we have infant toddlers, of course, in that area. We gave 2 shower chairs, 1 walker, 1 bedside commode, and we had 7 INRs in Hope. So now we're gonna talk about Woodbine. In Woodbine, I enjoy to go to the My Time Cafe. If you ever had their Jaeger Schnitzel, go and eat that. It's really good. But usually I just go there, have a meal, socialize, give away my swag, and provide information to people. With me going there, I've had 24 information referrals just by putting my card and my pamphlets up there. I like to put information out there, but I also want them to be curious. They want them to call me, what can we offer? So that's what I do in Woodbine. We've also had 2 walkers, 2 toilet risers, 3 wheelchairs, and 1 bedside bar. The Detroit story gets me every time. We had a call from a veteran, and this veteran was May 30th, 2024. He was looking for resources for his wife. He was getting ready to go to Washington, D.C. to the Veterans Wall to see his brothers that didn't make it home. So I went to Detroit right away. We went over some options, and he said one of the options was, well, sir, I didn't want to pry and ask what was wrong with his wife, so we kept it very, very low key. And he says, she needs this, this, and this. I said, oh, we don't need a person for that. We can get Wi-Fi. And he's like, I am not having none of that wong tong in my house. I said, well, I mean, wong tong can get you that you can go to the store and know your wife's okay. She can communicate back with you. And he's like, she can communicate with me. I'm like, yeah, she can communicate. So next thing we know, he had a Google Home in his house, and they have the ones that now spiral to voice. So if it's facing the wall and his wife would talk, it would come to him. And so she'd be able to communicate with her husband through a screen. And he was able to go on his trip, and we did help him find like home health and stuff to go in just a couple of days while he's visiting his brothers in DC. So he still reaches out. And he got there with a bigger screen, so he upgraded. So it's kind of like a TV, and his wife gets to communicate. He goes to the store and doesn't have to worry about her. And that's all through the assistive technology. And then we gave one walker to Detroit, one wheelchair, one medical boot. We get those boots, nobody wants them, but when you get that one phone call, be like, do you happen to have a medical boot? Well, we have 5. How many would you like? So we always like to save those things. And there's really one size fits all. I mean, we could fit any foot in that boot. So, and then we had a wheelchair cushion we gave to somebody as well. And then Navarre. So if you go to Navarre, there's a co-op. That's about the whole, the biggest thing. Those boys in there really, I walk in, they're like, okay, put it on the board and you can go out. But the one gentleman told me, when you're in Navarre and you're living here, you usually stay here. A gentleman called and was looking for a Medicaid packet to fill out. So he could get Medicaid insurance. I said, I could drop one in the mail. And he goes, snail mail. He goes, ma'am, I'd really need this now. He was telling me the situation. I said, well, I guess I can run out there. And he said he lived in Navarre. I said, can I get your address? He said, ma'am, it's Navarre. I said, okay. He said, I live in a house with this kind of shutters. I'm like, okay. So when I got in town, I mean, really, he's right. It's Navarre. I was like, oh, it's right there. And he said, I told you you'd find the place. So I gave him his packet, and he is now on Medicaid, and I also helped him get some medical equipment, and he's also working through a Social Security matter that we also helped him with and referred him to Independent Connection. So we gave 4 walkers, 1 suction grab bar for the shower, and we had 3 INRs. So Manchester, it's 19 miles away. I forget Manchester even exists half the time. I don't go swag bag with Manchester. We still get those calls. A lady called and she was in panic and her dog needed to go to the vet. OCCK was not able to take her on the bus or anything. So I called somebody, they went out and picked her up and took her dog to the vet. And the lady states that OCCK, saved her dog's life, and that if it wasn't for a person that we served in that town in Manchester for 15 years, she wouldn't have known about OCCK because she doesn't have an internet and stuff. So that's great that one of our referrals of somebody that we serve is speaking in the community highly of us to refer people back. We gave a knee walker in Manchester, a wheelchair, and 1 transfer bench, and 3 INRs. And then Talmadge, it's also one of those towns that there's 3 locations that are busy sometimes of the day: the elevator, senior center, and the post office. So if you go in there, usually all OCCK information is there. And when they have some special events, I try to go put my cards and pamphlets there. We currently 1 toilet riser and 2 walkers, but to honor Rotary, like I'm the Rotary president this year, and we were able to put AED machines in Talmadge. And also, I think almost in all these towns I've been talking about, we've been putting AED machines, which is a very, Talmadge is in that train. If there's a train coming, you can't get to town. So it's nice to have an AED machine. I was somewhat a part of that. So that was nice. And then Solomon, so around Solomon, we received it was Christmas time. We received a call, a mother of 4, didn't have no food, no presents, all this stuff for her kids, just moved to town, going through a horrible divorce. So we were able to, OCCK bought us some stuff as well as my staff, and then reached out to like neighbor to neighbor. So we really hooked her up with a lot of resources, because it's not just us at the sub hub, it's all the resources that we work together. And this all happened, we've had it in 3 days before Christmas. So they had a great Christmas. And then we were able to help her mother with a walker and a shower chair. And she had a list for hospital beds. So that was nice. And then she called me March 1st of this year, and she participated in the CORE program that there is in town, where you go through for 6 weeks and you learn how to budget your money. So she said because of OCCK and the resources provided, she was able to get in this, and she's buying her own house here pretty soon in Dickinson County. So she's a year turnaround almost, or half of it. It's Christmas time. So just because of all the resources we have in Dickinson County. So we have 2 walkers and 1 medical boot and 1 wheelchair and arm sling in Solomon, and we had 20 INRs. In Enterprise, we of course took my swag bag around to Enterprise. I always hang out at the bank, the library, and the apartment complex. And I spoke to 8 families about OCCK and services in Dickinson County, and we also talked about the SNED program and had 5 people sign up. which is this is our third year with SED, with Dickinson County First Responders and the Police Department. And so that's actually I'm actually head of that now. We're calling them every year, make sure nothing changed, and if people pass, we take them off the list. But it's been great for the community. We have 2 walkers, 1 wheelchair, 1 lift chair, and 27 INRs in Chapman. So have you ever heard of the Chapman Abilene Challenge? It's literally, I guess, if you can walk from Chapman to Abilene, you're doing pretty good. Country Mart called me, and there was a guy that needed his paycheck, and he was walking from Chapman to Abilene. And he said he'd be there in an hour or so whenever he got there. So Country Mart called me and said, Jenny, I know this is not your thing, but can you go pick up this gentleman? I'm like, oh, sure. So I actually don't go pick him up. I had somebody else pick him up, and they called and said I found him. I'm like, it's not gonna be that hard to find him, but we found him. We got him, got his check cash and stuff. Actually hooked him up with resources, and there was a program where you get a free car through if you got a job and DCF and stuff. So now he actually has a vehicle. So we helped him kind of along that way. In that area, we had 1 shower chair, transfer bench, and a walker, and 31 INRs in Chapman. So that's good. And we held a transition coalition in Chapman for the resource fair last 2024, and we had 22 businesses attend. And then we have Harrington, of course. It's Harrington. We've had job fairs there. We've had 4 students walk away with jobs, and they still 2 of those students still have their jobs. On durable medical equipment, I didn't track as good with them, but we had them actually give us back, which is the food clothing called it, so they didn't have room, so they called us to get it. So that's a great resource. When they're overflowing, we can help them and give it out. And we've had 25 INRs in that county. So now we have 1 more, Abilene. We have 102 INRs itself just here in Abilene. We had 32 of those INRs receive feedback to me of how they utilize the resources or was provided with services through OCSK. We provided 250 hygiene items donated to the core program and the OCSK employees. All the cop cars, most cop cars now have hygiene bags. So when you see the homeless or somebody that's needing the stuff, we're able to just give them those bags and hopefully help them a little bit. We have 22 children in Abilene and infant toddler services. We have 32 pieces of durable medical equipment in the year of just in Abilene. I didn't want to list them with all you guys, but 32 pieces were just gave out through our Abilene. So then Transition Coalition, we had 2 job fairs in 2024 at the school. And then the boards that I'm on is the Quality Life Board. I'm on the Zero Waste Committee to represent Dickinson and Saline County. I'm on the HOA Security Hidden Meadows. I'm the treasurer. I'm currently the Rotary President and Secretary, the President of Transition Coalition, partner with Dickinson County High School. And that's that. Okay, I have 2 more stories and then I'll be done. Do I have time?
Yeah.
Okay. So these stories are just Abilene stories. Abilene story that hits home to me is another single mom living with her mom caretaker. We took the wish list and got, of course, neighbor to neighbor, infant, toddler, and other resources. One of the community members, heard us talking like on a street, and they asked information. I can totally give what I could give. I gave them an address. I couldn't give a phone number. It wasn't my place to give it. It was probably a week turnaround, $2,000 somebody sent to her. And I'm sure I know the person in the community that did it, but he just wanted that family to have that. So that was a great resource that you just never know. I think County is so kind. And then we received a call from a nursing facility for a gentleman that needed to go to a Salina Art Show last June. And we arranged the ride, got him there. It was never mentioned that the art show was to nominate him. So if he didn't get that art show, he wouldn't have been nominated. It was some picture that he had there that he was being nominated for. So I told my staff, I said, thank you so much. She said, no, thank you. It was an honor to drive him and hear his stories. So that was an awesome thing for OCSK as well. And the last story, you guys might know this gentleman, but I'm not going to say his name. But this last story with 3 years ago, I've been helping a gentleman with Social Security, Medicaid, housing. He'd lost his mom, never knew how to, he was probably 40 or 50, so didn't know how to live yet on his own because he always lived with his mom. I received a phone call, actually through the denials and all that stuff and of Social Security. So we just got our denial of May of last year, and we finally got Social Security in August of 2024. In November 2024, I received a phone call on November 6th that he had passed away unexpectedly for a tragic accident with his car. He had no family in town. And I was tied to this gentleman, like through it, like I didn't know how tied I was. I didn't know how much OCCK and myself meant to him. I was on his contact list. The bank knew that I was helping him. Everybody knew that I was helping him. So when I got this phone call, they're like, kind of like you're next to kin. I'm like, how am I next to kin? And they said that he even had my card still in his like wallet, the first card they had gave him, and he put me on all those registered contacts. So I was actually helped him with all his property and all that stuff. And we got him a celebration of life, and he loved trains. So we got him, he's cremated. They actually called me and told me to go pick him up. I said, but pick up who? And they're like, you pick up this guy, he's yours. I'm like, okay. So I went and picked him up and called one of his friends, and he was Abilene Reflector as well. So I went and dropped him off there until we had the celebration of life. And he actually got his ashes on the train track, the one that goes to Enterprise. They put his ashes from the train all the way to Enterprise. So, I mean, just to have an opportunity to help everybody that we can, just like Sheila said, we don't turn nobody away. So I'm done.
Stories.
That's what I had to answer.
Yes.
This one.
Okay, thank you. I had a question,
Okay.
but then we got all them stories and I forgot my question. I had a question for you, and then we went down. I'll be honest, I forgot what I was gonna ask you. It wasn't a big one, but
I'm sure I would have answered it really, really well.
I'm sure you would. Commissioners, do you have any questions for OCCK?
We want to thank you. Thank all of you.
Yeah, I will touch on that. I want to thank you for coming in with a similar budget. As you know, we are trying to cut some expenses around here. So I appreciate everybody trying to work with us on that. Obviously, some can't, but you guys did, so thank you. From the sounds of it, I don't think there's going to be an issue, and you guys presented yourself very well. So thank you for all the stories, and you showed us what you're doing.
Good, good. And thank you. You know, we really appreciate the partnership. It's very good.
Well, hearing that stuff, I'll be honest, I didn't know 100% what you, I had an idea.
See the bus go by a lot.
But yeah, I see it, you know, and I see the store and, or, you know, your storefront and, yeah, there's OCPK. But you told me very clearly in 11 and a half stories.
Well, the response time is important and the time limits there, so.
Well, some of them stories were great, even though they weren't maybe what people would call, I don't know the right term, but it sounded like they all led to a good outcome. So I like what I'm hearing.
Good, good.
Sure the commission does as well. So thank you for your work.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome. We'll see you for next year, and I'm glad to come back anytime to give you updates or whatever you need. So,
Have you anytime, you just let us know.
okay.
It's on the agenda. I would love that. Actually, you know, I meant to mention that today. I'd love to hear from you guys throughout the year. I think the commission would too.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give us a bi-yearly report or not bi-yearly, but biannual,
Occasionally.
yeah, come back in, let us know how things are going. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to share more. It's hard to cram it all into, well, I mean, without taking too much of your time. So if we could give smaller updates, that'd be fun.
It's honestly better that way. If you want to come in for 30 minutes and let us know what you're working on, I think it's great for us. And it's more important for the public so you know where their money's going.
Sure, sure. Okay, we will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Okay.
We'll see you later.
All right, thank you. Rose, I'm sorry, I'm running a little late on the agenda.
Okay.
We had a good story, but I couldn't cut her off,
What a fantastic organization.
you know?
They really are.
She was on a roll too. I felt like I couldn't end there.
In your binder there, page 15, if you go to the expenditure section, we'll have registered fees.
Thank you.
Oh, they're a fantastic organization. They have a lot of great people that work for them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rose.
Hey, Rose Johns, Registered Deeds. My budget is pretty small as it is, so I worked with Marcus and we did cut a few things from my budget. We cut that dues and membership Line item, we cut that completely out because basically, I think I used that for travel training and other things anyway, so. And a lot of these things that we did cut were line items that have always been in there. I have no idea why or what they were for, but after talking with Marcus, we didn't really need them in there, so might as well get rid of them. So we cut that one, so that's that $700 that you'll see is basically,
Actually, the dues.
we're keeping that.
Yeah.
We're at 700. Yeah, we're keeping that. Sorry. I had it written here. Advertising, I've never used that, so we're gonna cut that line item out of there. The travel training, we did drop that by $300 for next year. And it's just because I have a new employee and I'd really like to get both of them into some webinars and things like that, and that does cost a little money. And then if I go to any of the seminars or anything, I'm gonna have to have some money in there for that. So we did drop it by $300.
I assume then last year, you didn't have a new employee.
No.
Okay.
No.
So then would that,
I did.
it's not a lot of money, but.
No, I did attend a registered deed school.
Okay.
And that did cost, I think, $500, I think. So I do have my certificate from that, by the way. So I did graduate it.
Hey, congrats.
The telephone and internet, we dropped that. I really don't even know what that's for. other
Yeah,
than
and that's
the phone.
just, it's actually the office phone. There's a
Okay.
portion that's kind of spread
Indirect
around.
expense.
So we just know how much goes to each office.
So parts and supplies, we did get rid of that line item. We did get rid of miscellaneous expense line item. We did do the miscellaneous IT expense. We did get rid of that. Software and hardware maintenance, got rid of that one. We did reduce my capital outlay by $1,000. Just wanted to keep a little money in there in case we needed to replace an aging office furniture or a chair or something like that. That's about all I have. Mine's pretty small.
I only got one thing, and it's your office supplies. You're quite over budget there. I know it's a small amount. Is there a reason for that? Last year's actual versus what you're budgeting is quite a discrepancy. Do we know why we're budgeting that so high? Are we buying a new printer? What are we doing with that?
So 25, it was budgeted 3,700.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you dropped it down to 25, but that's still twice the amount you did last.
Paper and.
And some of the thought process, I guess, when we were just discussing deleting some of the other items, which I don't think I put a note in the office supplies, parts and supplies, miscellaneous,
Right.
some of those things that were cut. The thought process,
Rolling it up.
she actually consolidate that and really, they're all kind of considered, it's her
Okay.
office, doesn't have a lot of other things. So she.
Let's run it for a year and see where it's at maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because just like if I have to replace, say, one of my label printers that I use, I won't have one, but the one I use for my recordings, that can be $3,700 right there.
Sure.
Those are expensive. We shouldn't have to replace it, but you never know what goes on. We used to be able to get them through CIC. They no longer do that service. So I would have to go through Dustin and we would have to find one that works with the system. And depending on where he finds it and how much, those are expensive.
Okay. Well, we were doing this a few more times throughout this budget. We're rolling different expense accounts that really could be rolled into office supplies.
Mhm.
So we're gonna let this one ride, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I saw in here where I'm like, what are we doing there? But you've explained it. We're rolling some different expense accounts into one. So
Mhm.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Rose?
I have a question, Rosie, come on. Housing of your records. You have some records at the Historical Society, right?
No, I have no records at the Historical Society anymore that I'm aware of.
So there were some that were stored down there, especially during the renovation, but they have come back and Rose has either scanned them or they were,
They're in my room over
Right.
there. Yeah.
right.
Okay, you don't have any salt mines or anything like that? So you have everything here?
Everything's stored outside.
Because weren't we paying money a few years ago about storing the records?
They told us that this year.
That's what I'm
They were storing.
That's what I'm referring to.
I think what Austin was saying is that they do store records of Dickinson County documents, but it's not anything that we have asked them to store. That's something that's probably been donated to them or
Historical
something.
document.
Yes.
I misunderstood.
I did too. but-
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have nothing in the salt mines. We have nothing that I'm aware of at the Historical Society anymore. I went and got all of those things, so.
You can always check with them.
Yeah, we can definitely always
Yeah.
check.
I was just curious. I may
Yep.
misunderstood.
Unless it was from years and years and years and years ago, but
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything there.
He brings up a good point. They kind of made it seem like we were storing documents there,
Yeah,
stuff that we needed.
yeah, no, everything
And
that,
I was under your impression because of what our conversation was, but no, I'm getting everything documented here.
everything that I'm
Digitized.
required to keep forever
Okay.
is stored here on site, and it is scanned. All of those books in that room are scanned. They are kept digitally as well.
yeah, we can reach out to Austin and double check on that. Maybe just.
Absolutely.
So it's-
Like I said, I don't know if my predecessors gave them stuff that I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But when he did call me about some items, I did go down and I did retrieve them because they didn't want to store them.
Unless they found some more rows, which is possible.
They could
because they
have.
had storage places, several different storage
And they
places.
could have.
It could be other departments, could be mine in there.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's not for me.
She's in my shoes. She's not sure.
I'm not aware of anything, but maybe it is.
By the way, Jennifer she's hitting it out of the park in her office. She's doing a great job.
Thanks.
I know how it feels to be the new person on the block, so you're doing great.
Thank you.
So I applaud her for sure. Yes.
Rose, you got a new employee,
I do.
and how are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling very comfortable. She's catching on very well. She's learning more and more about the recording process. They said there's a lot to it. There's a lot of things that can happen during your recording. You got to kind of figure out how to fix it. She's not afraid to wait on customers. She's very friendly when people come in. She's a former teacher, so that helps with a lot of things in our office. She catches a lot of misspellings and
That's right up
things and
Yes, it is.
so-
Right up her alley, keeping record and keeping.
Absolutely, and she's fantastic, so, and she's not computer shy at all, so it's great. She's doing really good. She's been here a month as of yesterday,
Oh, man.
so.
So 60 more days, we'll do, do we do a 90-day on them? It sounds like it's going really good.
It is, it is. Yeah, I'm lucky to have her,
Sounds like it.
so, and honestly, Debbie has stepped up her game as well. So she's trying her hand more and more at recording and things of that nature, so I think it's all gonna work out really well.
Wonderful.
Anything else?
I don't, commissioners. I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you, Rose.
thank you very much.
Have a great day. Thank you. Anything else anybody would like to discuss in work session? If we don't, I'll call for a break until 11.
You want me to talk about this or wait?
Won't you wait? Why don't you give an announcement?
All right, no problem.
I'm gonna call you on. Yeah. What?
You're gonna call me on the spot.
No.
You're like, okay. That's the thing.
No, I just want it in the official meeting.
Yeah, no problem.
Exactly.
I didn't know if we were doing it, though. But yeah, they can.
Rehearsal.
The rehearsal, yeah.
Marcus, I gotta talk to you, buddy.
Uh-oh.
My granddaughter is taking swimming lessons. She's the new little girl that doesn't, this is the one that can dribble a ball across the room, but
Yeah.
passing the ACT test. Cheryl wanted, your son has been helping her.
Really?
Yeah, and thank him because we get back from all grandpa and grandfather. Oh, she needs a little help here and so-and-so's helping me here. And so, oh, yes, yeah, it's kind of, the reason is in Washington where she lives, they weren't having that this year training.
Yeah.
Julie said, well, Helen's having training. So she checked that folks here in Abilene to see what's going on with training. So, well, Helen Heath needs training. He said, well, bring her down. And so she's staying with Julie
Yeah.
and then going up there for her training this week here for her CPR and swimming training. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So, So she's gonna be a
She's trying for that.
Okay, because so that's, yeah, so, yeah, Bo's in that same class
Yeah.
actually with.
Yeah. Well, the funny one was I had laughed because I got an email last night that said doing some training in the 12-foot water and she dropped her whistle.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't get it. And one of the other folks there went down. They just dove down to 12 foot. Her whistle brought it back up. Oh, thank you. Let's try this person down here might drown it. My fault, you know.
I could see it.
But anyway, I went,
Doing that. He said it's really cool.
yeah. So she come back with a sunburn because Julie's been telling her, you put stuff on the lotion stuff to all her back was just burnt all up yesterday, you know.
Yeah. Bo said that she got in water and he said the girls just screamed. He
Yeah.
said, because it was so cool. He goes, I was trying to be tough, so I was just.
That's,
But
that's
yeah, he
good.
said he jumped in the water. He said there's a couple girls that just screamed. It's like, it was so good. It was so cool.
But it was so like, again, it's so funny because you know the history that I've been telling you about.
Yeah.
His little granddaughter, you know, she went out for basketball.
Yeah.
Horrible player, but she stayed with, she's out of her comfort zone completely. Proud of her doing it. Like, you serious?
And it's funny because he actually missed, because he's gonna be Chapman. But he
Okay.
missed the second day of their training.
Oh,
And so he's kind of doing the same thing. He came over here to give it, because I found out Abilene was still doing theirs. And so I was like, I was gonna get Joe over here at the Abilene.
That's what we
So
do.
he can finish the- He's still gonna go work for Chapman, but.
Sure, yeah.
Chapman already open, and he couldn't do it until he passed the training.
There you go. There you
But of
go.
course, they open, so I don't think that they.
No, probably not.
Probably just closing the pool most of the.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's funny. Well, I have to mention that to him.
Thank you for me, by God.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. So it's not very interesting. But it is a new. They kind of choose what they want.
And they go,
But there's-
I can't believe it.
I can't believe that.
Hey.
I see the curbs on Saturday.
What's that?
We're going to see the curbs on Saturday. Yeah. Well, our granddaughter runs in the state track meet and they live in Augusta. And last year, you know, they had just moved and we did a lot of things together when they lived in Salina. And so we met, they drove in from Augusta and we had lunch together. Good. And in between races. So that was fun.
That's good.
So at least once a year we get to see them.
Good. Good.
Yeah, yeah. And does your Tanya go to Tampa every week to help with your mother-in-law?
Not every.
No.
She goes.
So I've almost been to CCA for like 10 years. I've never heard them tell that kind of stories. No, you like, I didn't know they offered some of the services they did. You cannot say you're going to. You know, I'm like,
I didn't know that.
when I have to like call and
Well,
ask,
honestly,
what kind of resources are out there?
yeah,
She needs to, oh my God, she's not there.
but he's got a key. I mean, he's definitely lost mobility. But, yeah, I was just thinking, maybe we should call him and have him come out and tell us what we should be. Not that I need them to give it, you don't need them to give it to us, but just say, you should have this.
What would help them? You don't necessarily think that.
Well, it's on our job. Yeah, it's their job, so they would know. I was just thinking that. Maybe it should come out and tell them what they should do.
Like I did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
What
kind
I
of.
know for sure is that we have like a two-step into the, well, you know, into our living room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, we gotta put a rail there. Like, cause you have to, so that the wall don't fall. This thing.
Then what happens is, you know.
You're gonna fall.
I got to
Well, I was even thinking,
camera for this area here because it's
Use some of the
falls.
devices in our house. But like, my mom doesn't like what she was talking about, even.
Going to the bathroom.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I should have
Bed or something
set
like
her up with like the, or the Alexa, because if she did have
that.
She can yell for you.
herself, she could
Get over
call her
here.
on the phone or
Yeah.
something, you know, because
Yeah, she does.
it makes sense. So I'm like, yeah, I might need to set someone up, like one down in her basement, you know, one, you know, and get her. Because she's there by herself, so I'm like, if something were to happen.
Oh, yeah. It makes sense.
On there.
It's kind of good to hear some of the stories. I'm like, they do more than I eat.
I didn't know they did all that.
Yeah, that's good.
They did.
It's.
Okay, let's get some of these stuff. Bills in there, you guys on side there.
This is what I don't like this.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Juvenile detention center, I meant to say something. I think there's something, the reason for that, because I complained before about this.
Yes.
It's an exception permit.
You can't see it.
Yes. But that's how we've always presented it, and we have asked, and
Yeah, and I have too, Janelle, because I don't see well, and
Well, extra work in Excel, fix that.
yeah. One of the things I wanted to bring up with Rose, I was leading up to, they saved us money because they had records out at one time, being stored somewhere that was lost in the county.
Yes.
And it's not anymore. She was saving us money. I couldn't get all that out, so.
A free fleet card, guys.
Wow.
Oh, this is to you, Ron.
I was just doing garbage out of piggy cards. I can't even
Put it away.
No.
Thank you.
She usually doesn't have to put up with any.
exactly. Interesting.
Okay.
You think there's any validity to that, Lynn?
Well, I think there must be, but I don't know what building they're talking about.
Hmm.
But that'd be money from the foundation.
That wouldn't be BS anyway, would it? Huh? To the city, wouldn't
Yes, yes.
But still,
yeah.
Okay, that's what we got.
Look at that. Was she? I've never heard anything.
No, it just sits on the desk.
What's her name? What?
You can't air out what ballot they're getting. They're walking from.
Eisenhower.
You're taking it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What is she doing? She's pretty sharp.
Yes, I mean,
That's what here. Because it's.
You hear about that? Yeah.
no,
You have this. They're separate. You don't
no
have that.
resign to say.
Oh, you don't? Okay, you can have this.
That's, I heard 10 was half.
This version had this separate off to the side. Just made it one.
Sure, that makes sense. But I guess we'd have.
Which is, it's older. It has theirs off to the side as a printer.
Oh.
Just a cord.
I wonder because, you know, he did
Yeah,
this.
it'd be interesting to see what it looks
He was
like.
the governor.
Pretty good, right?
And then he also sent me
Haven't heard anything.
a letter visiting with me,
Yeah.
and I thought, wow.
That one-
what's going on?
Yeah.
He's been real friendly with me too.
Yeah.
Well, I
You did a good job with
they don't know what they're doing.
Right off the sunset.
Ken's doing. It's been
Yeah.
3 times now they've asked for information, and it's the same. So,
I called the office this morning to see
Actually,
if they needed anything else, so I would know. So
Never got any response from them. No news is good news.
Yes.
I'm sure committee. Oh. The technical school back to show up.
No, just a professional thing. Oh, that's their ballot.
And that opens
Like our 200.
So, okay.
health issues, but which I guess he's.
Oh, no, this is their own
Yeah.
ballot.
And, you know, you have to approach it that way too. I mean, realistically.
It's not realistic for us. We got too many polling locations.
And, you know, once they've been on the outside,
Yeah. No.
you know, now he's probably approaching. Yeah, he's probably approaching being in the top 4th to 3rd. It's on the alcohol, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so once they get on the Senate side, I mean, they're numbers wise, they can be a lot more influence than on the outside. Oh, no doubt. So. We'll see what happens there. Well, I'm surprised they don't have things filled out better. I mean, so couple of figure. Which that'd be something too. But, yeah. Well, there's always something to put the new on. You know, they always used to, here, well, a few years ago, they always used to say if you coughed or something, coffee or something. And then it's a real, I mean, this happened, you look around and people are, if I could survive my children this winter, they're sitting there and do nothing. People are sitting around with their arms like this, you know, and so it's like, well, what difference does that make? Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. Well, I had someone get back from college and they could help me. And they were coughing. That in a truck with the windows. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you got Grant too, don't you? I didn't mean to cover you up here.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Person filing right now. Oh, really? Right.
For which,
So that-
I had two school-age ladies working right over at the office for about 15 hours this week each. And they brought a trailer in. And I've got a couple of people, summer help, helping with the monument setting, so.
These are those full heads.
Kind of hard to find part-time help. Well, it is, especially good. But if you get them for the, this is the pull pad, you said?
they're coming.
Well, that's why I just read that, but this is what you're talking about.
Yeah, not that far. That's a print on demand though.
Here at Lynn, who's
Oh, for those.
having, when our little
How much
kids had 2 kids at one time, we had a lot of numbers, a lot of kids. And didn't have anything to do.
Full pass.
And I come up with the idea of having a mow. Oh, my. And we're gonna get sued and all this threats and stuff. I said, the kids need money. So we had to.
So you would give them the
They'd be there once
package
you
to
go.
vote?
They can go through it. Each child.
This is their book. This is their book that you go sign.
Okay, so I said they had something to do with their money and it kept a place to them.
All loaded in from our.
You don't have to find it.
That we-
Find people that help.
You're gonna have to. Right.
Mhm.
It costs some money.
We
Not
have to
crazy
remember
amount, but you,
Yeah, you have to. It's
Anyway.
required.
okay.
You can't have elections out.
I didn't know how that works.
Yeah.
First, there'll be a learning curve.
You guys already buy one?
No, we have not.
They're gonna have a demo on June
19,
19th.
How much?
Huh?
How much are they?
Just this right here is 1,000. I don't know about the.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's a brand.
Well, we need 11 of them for each
Oh.
one.
Okay.
Right, you'd
We
want,
need more than that because we need 4 just for Abilene. Because there's 4,500 voters there. You can't do it on one.
so you're maybe talking 18, because you probably
I
want,
was thinking on
Couple
17
feet.
or 18, yeah.
Together your proposal.
Yeah, I want her to come in. I want her to look at it. You're welcome to come if you
I have total faith in you.
want. Okay.
You are
No, if you
our
want-
election officer.
If you didn't want, if you wanted to look at them as well.
I can,
Anybody's welcome.
it would be after a commission meeting on the 19th.
yeah, that's fine. If you want to do that, I don't mind doing that.
Yep, it's up to you.
But you understand my position there.
Yep.
You were elected.
Yep, yeah, no problem. I just didn't know if you wanted to see what we would be investing in.
I want to know how much you want.
Yeah. It's also good to know what you're getting for the deal.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. No, I like technology, you know, you talk about going paperless. I'm so convinced
It's
it's all the time.
This is
Because
better.
you're replacing all the equipment and stuff a lot. I don't know if it's a wash, but
Away when I put
These
my,
can also be leased.
that
So
whole
that you can, something new comes out in 3 or 4 years. If you're on a lease, so you can sell your next one. If you don't want to spend.
I was taking insurance home anyway.
I'm not gonna-
Also for recommendation.
Oh, you get 2026.
Yes, that's-
That one's at-
These right now are the only ones.
but we've got a 25 second.
I want
Yeah,
to
those-
do that because I don't want something that's not, and then we have to get
So
something.
maybe then we can start, we can.
That's not good.
Just
Yeah, because that's not where we're at right now with the contract that they're working through with ESNS.
Yeah, Elvis is about to be upgraded. We talked about that.
My suggestion would be to put together both. I mean, let's talk about, put together both proposals with lease and buy.
Yeah, I did tell her to give me both. We need to see the options. that we have.
This is recycle, that's what, last week.
No, I'm coughing. Lynn.
Yeah.
Lynn.
You're getting everybody sick of it.
Thank you.
I know.
We need a map.
I've got some in the office if you want one.
Yeah, what?
They didn't wear a mask when COVID was here.
Mask? Oh, I thought you were gonna,
You know dang well it wasn't one of those guys, right?
you're gonna get a recliner or something.
I got kicked out of place.
Isn't that terrible wearing those things?
Yes,
Bad.
yes.
I breathe through the things.
I still have the plastic guard if you want that around.
Oh, we did that for the shop.
Did you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We just kept them up though.
Did you?
It's a glass.
Yeah.
Noise cancels a little bit.
Yeah.
What did the government do? You guys just shut down? Did we shut down?
Yeah.
We don't need to go there. We're not doing
Give that much time.
No, I don't want to go there.
This is
I can envision
recycle.
so. It's a pain back then.
We did and we didn't.
Like a portal.
Managers usually were around.
Oh,
Employees were not. Some managers.
Are we muted still or unmuted? or-
No, we're still alive and
Because I always worry we'll start the meeting. Of course, we'll usually get a text from someone and say, hey, you're
Right.
not unmuted.
so far, we're good.
when you tested this, was it okay?
Yes, yep, no, we tested.
Oh, good.
And we have a backup for audio as well.
No videos back up. And videos back up. or-
Yeah, I got out of it.
Is that right?
Yeah, I did about a year ago,
Yeah,
but I got in it 5 years ago.
yeah. So that's good timing.
Yeah, made me pretty happy. But it sounds like it's only gonna keep going up because they're making these processors for the AI, I'm told.
Well, they're expanding their services too for other things. So, I mean, they're constant on the move.
Which one's the official?
Whatever's on the computer, actually.
Over here.
What I would use, so.
I'll bring this meeting to order. We'd all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we're in order. Sorry. All right. We'll move on to approval of the agenda. I do have a few additions, so let me read through those briefly here. We have two notices, one from election officer Jennifer Gayton and county clerk. Also have another notice from the Dickinson County Recovery Court. This one's one I did for a graduation notice. In addition to a resolution 052925, which is amending resolution 100815 concerning the sale of cereal malt beverages. This will be concerned on Sunday sales. And then we will have an executive session today to discuss non-elected personnel. That is the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda approved. Moving on to consent agenda. Minutes are provided in your packet from May 22nd meeting. Expenditures were $350,673.62. Hand checks of $127.67. And SD security, $4,588.50.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda approved. Moving on to commissioner comments and committee reports. We'll start with Lynn today. Lynn, do you have any?
Just really the only thing is, and it was on the news also, retired Lieutenant General Harry Wiggins had given an update over in the Flint Hills area, and it spoke about how some of the downsizing that's going to be happening, as well as some deployments, and really some of the things that the military will be doing is going to be a little bit of a different direction than what it has been in the past, and how communities need to be willing to adapt, because there could be some changes, and that is really the biggest economic driver in the region. $2 billion over from Fort Riley. The other thing he kind of brought up as a side note, and I think it has to do with some of the pensions as far as retired military people. Kansas does not offer quite as much as what other states do as far as offsetting or making that exempt from income tax and so on. And he just kind of gave a plug for that. That's something really the state legislature should consider if they would like to. It may create a situation where more retired military will stay in the area. And so anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting comment on his part. And of course, those things often become part of a discussion, and with the legislature to get traction, sometimes that can take a few sessions, and it may be something that's, anyway, that was a interesting point that he brought up. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Lynn. Ron?
I'd like to take just a couple minutes here today to, first off, give our thoughts and prayers to the tragic accident on Highway 4, west of Highway 4. This last weekend. It's a pretty tough deal, but it's not only tough for those that were involved with it, but also for the staff of Dickinson County that went out to help with that particular accident. So we're always concerned about things like that happen on our roads and highways, and we are, again, our thoughts and prayers go with the family. I spent a little time yesterday with the detention center, which you guys know I spent quite a bit of time with, and everything is working well, still in business. Here's a facility that's been there since 1992, about 35 years, and hanging in there pretty good through all the turmoil and things that are going on. As Doug has indicated many times, with new problems we're encountering, it's new situations with all these facilities. So we're thankful we can at least do something to help with this situation. That's all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ron. I don't have much to report this week. I have been meeting regularly with the EDC. We are getting reorganized. We're working on hiring a talent consultant to find a new director, and we are getting that thing rolling pretty quick, and I'm pretty excited about the results. I think we're going to bring it back pretty quickly, so things are on track, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. Other than that, you know, I've been getting a few comments from the community on budgeting. I've actually got a lot of praise for us, guys, from a few different people. And I just wanted to extend that to you guys as well and to the staff. So let's keep it going. I feel like we're operating with good decorum, with respect and honor. And I would love to keep that track record going as we hear about what's going on in some of the other communities. So I want to thank everyone for that. Moving on, we do not have any petitions or proclamations. We'll move on to public comment. Janelle, would you read the rules from that?
Yes. For the Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4317 and 75-4318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meetings. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During their regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. It is at the discretion of the county commission if they allow comments on agenda items. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. Please state your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments shall be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You should make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask them questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with the previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of your name and address and you agree with the previous speaker. It is important to maintain a respectful, non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in such actions as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Thank you. I have one more comment. I apologize. We are now uploading all the work sessions online. If you guys are curious about the budget and where it's going, I highly recommend you go watch our work sessions. That is where we are talking through the line items. That's where we're really getting into the meat and potatoes per se. So I encourage the public, if you want to tag along on this journey of budget season, please watch the work sessions and educate yourself. And obviously you can call any of us anytime. Okay. That being said, can we get a report from County Administrator Janelle Dockendorf?
And I do not see anybody with their hand raised online.
Yeah, you're right. I should have asked that.
Yes. Commissioners Public Works continues to lay asphalt, weather permitting. So today was somewhat iffy with the rain that we've had. So that's going to continue on as weather allows. We did have 2 county vehicles damaged in the recent hailstorm 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, and they will soon be repaired. We did fill the WIC position. Sherry Kleinbeck has filled that the WIC nurse position up there. So she started Tuesday, actually. We do have summer help positions open, so reach out to Marcia or check the website, or you can talk with Martin down at Public Works. And we do have an open deputy position. So do you have any questions for me?
I believe we do. Thank you. County Councilor Doug Thompson.
Thank you. Last Friday, we had Judge Rozier was here, and we submitted the cases to him pertaining to the tax foreclosure. And so we're moving, those orders were already being issued. They're now being filed with the court, and we're going to move forward with the tax sale just as soon as we possibly can. So we've got completed there. So,
No date yet.
no date yet, but it's going to be pretty quick because we're moving through all of those, and nobody showed up at the final hearing that we had to come in and say that, no, we needed more time, we needed, and nothing. So they didn't show up. So the judge approved all of the paperwork that we had prepared, and now we'll move forward and go forward with the tax sale.
Would it likely be this month then, or does it have one more publication or two to?
No, we might be able to make it here this month, meeting in
June.
June, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and so that's our target, move forward with the tax sale.
Okay.
That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Hey, quick question. If someone wants to see what properties are going to be available, where do they get that list or how that? be where the public can view that.
Sure, yeah, it will be in Publishers, it'll be, they would be able to check the property. There's no secret to it. It's like what we have done multiple times before. And so they would be able to see because of in the newspaper, it would be listing those parcels.
Official listing.
Yeah.
And it'll be on the county website under the treasurer's
Yeah.
page.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly the number that's going to be because I'm hoping some will pay their taxes before we get to the point of them losing their property. But, so we'll know quite a bit here by the end of June.
Now, are there land parcels on that as well as structures and empty lots, or
Uh-huh. Yeah.
a little bit of both?
Yeah.
For
The
everything.
numbers have dropped down some, but yes. Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Moved on to notices and communications. Jennifer Gayton, County Clerk, I'm going to let you take this one off about elections.
Okay, I just wanted to remind everybody that the filing deadline is Monday, June 2nd at noon. I was gonna let you know everybody who has filed so far. So for the city of Abilene, we have 3 commissioners available, and so far we have Rebecca Perkins, Alan Bayer, John Kohlhoff, and Cy Taylor has applied for those. Carlton has a mayor and 5 city council available. Nobody has filed. Chapman has 3 city councils, and Christy Loy and Jackson Wasilk has filed. Enterprise has a mayor and 2 city council. So far, Thomas Decker has applied for mayor. Harrington has 1 commissioner available. Nobody has applied. Hope has 3 city council members, Billy Lemminger, Daniel Schwint, Robin Moniz, Chris Border, James Andrew, and Kevin Hiskett have all applied for that. Manchester has a mayor and 5 city council. Maggie Slick has applied for the mayor, and Thomas Slick, Debbie Ponton, Jerry Ponton Jr., Haley McMillan, and Ivana Lee Flora have applied. Solomon has 3 city council members available. There has not been any applications. Woodbine has 2 city council. Nobody has applied. Now we're moving on to schools. USD 393 has 3 positions available. So far, Robert Vandercreek, Cynthia Miller, and Lynetta Heller has applied. USD 435 has 3 positions available. So far, Kelly Maiden has applied. USD 473 has 3 positions available. We have Fabio Garcia, and Adam Elliott apply for those. USD 481, 3 positions available. Janet Young, Chandler Johnson, and Dylan Cook have applied. USD 487, we have 4 positions open, and Jeremy Ann Schutz has applied. Now we're on the Chisholm Trail. Chisholm Trail has 2 positions available. Paula Atchison has applied. The Abilene Hospital Board, we have 2 positions available. Kent Wyatt has applied. And finally, for Redbud, we have 3 positions available, and Denise Schmidt has applied. I'm sorry if I've said anybody's name in that. In order to have a primary, we have to have 3 times the number plus 1. So if you have 3 candidates that have filed, you need 3 times the number plus 1. So you need 10 people to file to have a primary for that section. It doesn't make everybody have a primary. It's whoever goes over.
Okay.
Okay.
I would go ahead and add to that. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to your county clerk, Jennifer Gayton. Okay, moving on to our second notice. We have a notice for the Dickinson County Recovery Court graduation, which will take place on Wednesday, June 11th at 3:30 here in the courthouse, courtroom 1. Our address here is 109 East First, Abilene, Kansas, 67410. We invite the public to attend that.
I do have a question for Jennifer. So.
Oh, sure.
And maybe things have changed, but for example, like on a city position, I'll use Abilene as the example. Can they file for that office with the city clerk and you, either one, or does it go through the county only on something like that?
On, I believe, first and second class cities, they can file with the city clerk, but typically they don't. They come to the county clerk. Yeah.
I mean, I just think maybe people would be interested in knowing that if they had an option.
So Abilene would fall on that one.
And then you do a review on spelling the names and they get a sample ballot to make sure everybody's name's included if they've met the deadline and so on.
Yeah. So we go through and we verify everything before it goes onto the ballot. One thing about though, with filing is they need to live where they're applying to be at. So if you want to be in Chapman, you need to live in Chapman. You can't live in Abilene and apply to be on Chapman City Council. So that'd be one thing for a city clerk. I don't know if they would know all that. You know, someone would come in, because we look up their registration when they come, see where they're registered. Is it correct? Make sure they're available to apply for that position.
Okay.
They don't have that ability at the city, but
Okay.
they could call us if they were following there.
Okay. Thank you.
I would say it's recommended to get with the county clerk. I only say that because from the state's purview, that is our election officer for the county.
Mhm.
So that would be my suggestion.
Mhm.
Any other questions, commissioners? Moving on, we're going to have resolution 052925, resolution amending resolution 100815 concerning the sale of cereal malt beverages. Correct me if I'm wrong, Janelle, but the big difference here is we have included Sunday sales.
We have included Sunday sales. It's not tied to a certain percentage of food being sold at the venue. So
As long as they are licensed, they have a liquor sale license, they operate within a city unless given a CUP.
outside of the city limits.
Outside, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, then they would be allowed to.
But not liquor, cereal malt.
Cereal
Cereal malt, sorry,
There's a
you're correct. I apologize. Okay. Do you want me to read through this? That's the big, what we're passing. That's what I'm
Yes.
trying to get out here.
Just a summary of the
Yes.
resolutions, good.
Okay. So then I'll just go ahead and read this. Whereas KSA 41-2701 requires a retailer who desires to sell cereal malt beverages in Dickinson County, but outside the limits of a city, to make an application for license to the Board of County Commissioners. Whereas KSA 412702 authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to levy fees for cereal malt beverages and retailers' licenses. Whereas KSA 412704 authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to prescribe hours of closing, standards of conduct, and rules and regulations concerning the moral, sanitary, and health conditions of the places licensed pursuant to the Kansas Cereal Malt Beverage Act, KSA 41-2701, which in addition to inconsistent with the act. With that being said, I would open this up for a motion. Do we have any more discussion?
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 052925.
Second. Any more discussion, commissioners? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving on, there's no unfinished business today, but we do have some other business today. I believe I can motion this. I motion that we move to executive session for non-elected personnel. We will have County Administrator Janelle Dockendorf, the Commissioners, County Clerk Jennifer Gayton, Assistant County Administrator Marcus Rothschild will be in that meeting. We will break for that meeting at 11:20 for a period of 15 minutes until 11:35. We will resume normal meeting session.
And the purpose is to discuss
non-elected personnel.
But what's the subject? They have to have a subject. That's just your reasoning.
So
County
it's-
business
Yes. Yes.
or something else.
County business.
Okay, I don't want to say for you.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We will break at 11:20 for executive session.
Motion that was that you?
Yeah. Ken did. Ken
Okay.
did. Rob.
did.
Sorry.
I believe I have to. I believe the chair has to. Exactly.
Okay.
Or
I didn't know.
No.
what it was.
I didn't know the rules.
Yeah, no, it's.
Janelle can't.
It could be any of the three commissioners.
Yeah, I think people would have questions. Janelle starts making motions.
Yes, I would have questions. What am I doing?
Yeah, sorry, we gotta kick you out. But you're welcome back, Marla, as soon as we're done.
Good to see you again.
It's essential in all of our.
Thank you. Your, a motion to return back to regular meeting.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I should have, in that motion, we made no decisions, no definitive decisions out of our executive session. Are we good there?
You're good.
Okay. With that being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any more discussion, commissioners? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We can go home.